Hello and welcome. Yesterday, Grinding Gear Games announced the first race event season for Path of Exile. This is a pretty big thing in the gaming industry as a whole, for that matter. It's going to be a competitive event for players across the board in a free-to-play game in which basically anyone is actually eligible to get in and play and potentially reap the rewards of the event series. The prizes, you can kind of see in the background here on the logo, is a series of various unique skinned items that players can earn, like I said, just for playing. It should be a pretty good time. It starts on February 23rd, or actually I think the 22nd. They have an event, two events scheduled the day before. It could be a time zone thing for that could be why. February 23rd to April 7th, New Zealand time. I'm assuming that's the NZ. So for Eastern Standard Time, it actually starts on the 22nd of February, not the 23rd. But yeah, beta testing for the events, all done. They have a proper event series set up now. For the race season one, again, just set up prizes of a variety of unique skinned items, some of which will show up quite well in characters: swords, shields, helmets, maybe gloves, boots, rings, probably not quite so much. The event's scheduled out over the course of the 6 weeks that it's going to run. Varying times, varying numbers per day, some days with none whatsoever, that I may be lying about due to some changes they made in time zones and stuff that was added. Yeah, 22nd, 12 p.m. Eastern. That's when the event starts. The actual events themselves, various race format leagues, where, depending on the setting, some are solo, some are party. You will have a time limit, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, some last a week. I don't know if there's any other time increments. A question mark hour race. Don't know what that means quite yet. And 3-hour turbo party race, I'm not sure what that means. Also not sure why I can't click these links. Okay, some of them just weren't actually listed, or don't have have actual active links for them yet. Now, what this means for most of mine, I know specifically about the 1-hour solo races that are coming up on tomorrow. I don't know what day of the week it is. They are hardcore events. You make a hardcore character. When that character dies, it's out of the running. I believe any progress that character makes will hold over. Like, for instance, if that character happened to have completed one of the reward objectives, even if the character dies, it will still have counted towards that event. So if you were that lucky person to complete that quest first, and then die 5 minutes later to some random skeleton when you decided that you really had to pee and couldn't hold it, you have to go now, and you forgot to go back to town, you're in luck. You should still get credit for that for points. Before we go into some more details about it, let's look at the rewards. As I kind of touched on, some unique skinned weapons, a random coral ring stuck in there, nothing too spectacular. I guess it looks pretty. Helmets and gloves and bucklers. If these are the stats, they are pretty nice looking. Especially for the level. 866 more unarmed physical damage. That's interesting. Extra gore on top of that. I actually hadn't looked at these in particular. I don't know if there's more items like that scattered about, but yeah, there's a set of gloves that lets you fight unarmed, I guess. The actual events themselves, like the 1-hour solo event I was kind of mentioning, there's various reward objectives for it. The highest players for each class, the top 20, receive reward points based on how they place. The first player receives a special item and 10 reward points. Second place is 6, third 5, fourth 4, fifth 3 points, 6 to 10 get 2, 11 to 20 get 1. For just getting a certain number of levels, you get a bunch of points. In the case of 1-hour race events, You can get up to 7 for reaching 19, or as few as 3 for getting to levels 13 or 14. Now you say, oh, 13, 14? That doesn't take that long to get to. It's not as easy as it seems. In my Let's Play series, I'm level like 20... I got to like 24, 25 in probably like 8, 9 hours of playing. Now that's more than 13, obviously, but I probably took about 5, 6 hours to get to level... not that long. Probably took about 3, 4, maybe 5 hours to get to level 13 or 14, because I was doing it in a Let's Play format, talking and listening to NPCs and TAN and stuff like that. I actually did a practice run of a 1 hour. I had a little stopwatch up and going. The first attempt, I died about 8 minutes in. I just got surrounded by a bunch of enemies and couldn't get away and died. And that right there, that basically ruled out any chance whatsoever I had of getting a decent place in the rankings. Because a lot of people are probably going to be doing this. And losing a character and losing a quarter of the time, pretty much, or about a fifth of the time that I had for the event, I can make a new character and keep trying. I could get to 13 or 14, you know, maybe, and, you know, get some points like that, but chances are I'm out of the running for the top 20 places. So I did a second trial run. And I actually lived through the full 60-minute mark, but I ran into a number of issues. I finished at level 12 and a half. I learned a bunch of things in the process, too, don't get me wrong, but it's not as simple and straightforward as just saying, oh, you know, I'm going to go play, I'm going to, you know, smell the flowers and tilt at the windmills and just kill every single enemy I run across. If you want to do well, and, you know, you could squeeze out the level 13, level 14 just by kind of playing quickly and just pushing through yourself through. If you want to be getting more points per event, and actually, you know, like, finishing up at, like, levels 19 or higher, you really have to have a plan set up, a build set up. You have to have backup plans set up. There's a lot of luck involved with these races. If you have a plan set in mind, it's like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to play this bow-wielding ranger or a shadow with a bow, and you just don't get a bow. You know, the luck with the drops, it just doesn't work out for you. If you're using a normal bow or even a magic quality bow, you're going to be killing a lot more slowly than someone using a rare quality. And what that basically means is, you know, you're going to fall behind. I had this happen in my 1 hour trial run. I decided I was going to use a shadow using largely poison arrow. I was going to pick up a couple of little intelligence boost things here, some speed, some life, and I'd be good to go. You know, use poison arrow, kill stuff real quick. I didn't find my first bow until about the 25-minute mark when I went back and bought one finally. I had an orb of transmutation I threw on it. I got a mana on kill effect, which, you know, not bad. Better than a sharp stick in the eye, but not really useful for killing things quickly. It wasn't until the 45-minute mark... Actually, no, let me take a step back from that. It wasn't until about probably the 35-40-minute mark that I saw my first rare item in the entire play session. I wasn't even, it's like, oh, I got a club off of Hillock or something like that, or an axe or a sword, and I just didn't use it. No, I didn't see a single rare item for almost 40 minutes. And then I didn't even get a rare weapon. I got, I think it was a boot, no, it wasn't boots. I think it was like a sword or something, but at that point I had no gems or anything for it, so it was useless to me. I did luck out, however, and find an orb of alchemy. I used that on the bow. Did I use it on the bow? I think I grabbed another bow because that had the magic effect on it or something. But I finally had a rare bow, and in that last 15 minutes, I was killing so much more quickly than I had been previously. Just the extra 10 or so damage, you know, the difference between two-shotting and one-shotting something, you're literally killing twice as fast. And it just made a huge difference. Even if I didn't, oh, I missed it barely, well, it was a poison arrow, so that last little, like, 5-10% just got ticked down by the poison cloud that was up. So, you really want to have a backup plan for it. Maybe you have a build in mind, oh, I want to do this, I want to grab these skills, but if you kill Hillock, you're planning on a bow build, you kill Hillock and you get a rare quality sword or axe, you might want to have a backup build in mind, saying, oh, I got this rare quality axe, well, I'm going to dual wield, I'm going to use a one-hand and shield, and maybe it's a two-hand sword. Well, depending on your position in the skill tree, I don't know if a shadow would work with a two-handed sword, but if that's what you get, it's going to be better to use a two-handed in some weird skills initially. Put points in dex, whatever the heck it happens to affect and help out with. That's what you're going to use with a two-hand sword initially. Maybe you're going to grab sweep instead, or sweep, or cleave as a shadow. I think you don't even get those as choices. But you're going to hope and make the best use of what you can as possible to do well. Along that line, again, you're going to want to use what you find. If you're finding blacksmith whetstones, armorer stones, orbs of alchemy, you're going to want to use this stuff to make yourself as powerful as possible, so you can just push forward, kill stuff as quickly as possible, get what you need done now, not in an extra minute, an extra 2 minutes. Little things like that add up to a lot of time over the course of an hour. Even little things like, oh, I got a skill point. Let me just stand here and, I'll press P and I'll find it on the skill tree. Little things like that. You click near the edge of the screen. Press P. Spend the point quickly. Keep your build in mind, again, where you want to go. You're going to get probably 4 respec points. If you really mess up completely, it's like, oh crap, I did that. Hit the refund skill point quick. Put it in. Don't move so quickly that you're messing up, but do it quickly enough that you're not sitting there debating about what you want to do. Spending 30-40 seconds deciding, oh, well, should I put in the 10-point dex spot or the 10-point strength spot? Then the next point will be another strength or another dex, and then I'll get to the same spot I want to go to anyway. Spend that 30 or 40 seconds doing stuff in-game. Spend the point quickly. Worst case, you mess it up. It'll take you 5 seconds to undo it and take the other point that you would have taken anyway. But instead of sitting there thinking, you'll have gotten it done, out of the way, and you're back to fighting. Like I said before, or just a moment ago also, when you go to put a point in, a smarter version of myself would have had the passive tree builder up. When you go to spend your point, click near the edge of your screen, so you're walking. Click near the edge of your screen, press P, find the point, spend it. You've just covered the length of a screen for really no cost whatsoever for an extra click. Over the course of you figure you're going to get 20 or so skill points roughly after quests and stuff like that. By the time you're all is said and done, you'll have saved, you figure what does it take to walk from the middle to the edge, 2-3 seconds. You've saved about a minute over the course of those 20 skill points. 40 seconds to a minute. When you're talking an hour, that's a pretty decent chunk of time. Did I talk about... Yeah, use your consumables. I touched on this already. Use them. Maybe you don't want to use a Chaos Orb, because at those levels you may not be able to benefit from it. A Chromatic Orb, chances are you're not going to benefit from it. You may get a support gem, and you might get to the point where you want to take a shot in the dark and hope that you get a usable slot if you get to that point. On a 1-hour race, it's not really going to be too hard. In a 3-hour, you're going to get a support gem. You may need to use those chromatic gems. Or the, what are the other one? The Orb of Chance. The ones that manipulate slots on the items, the currency items that manipulate the links on the items. Things like that. You're going to want to, Lost my train of thought now. You're going to want to make use of them, but you're not going to want to waste time on them, if that makes any sense. If you have it in your inventory, you just go over, boom, you click it, you click the item, and you hope for the best. Throw your linked items in. If you really need that, your life gain on hit on your cleave, you don't have the proper link on it, head to Tarkly quick. Look quickly. Don't sit there looking, it's like, maybe if I find a chromatic, a linked green, red, and blue slot. If you're quick, you look, you happen to see it, by all means, grab it, use it, and hope for the best. But don't dwell on time, every level. Don't go back to town and look for a slot set up that you can get for a chromatic gem. In an hour or even a 3-hour period, you just don't have the time to waste. Just the way you play the game also, when you're out in the zones, moving around, there's a lot of things you don't want to do. Unless you're trying specifically for one of the first player to kill all of the monsters in any of the following areas, unless you're trying for one of these, you're generally not going to want to kill most of the stuff in areas. You're going to most likely want an AoE ability, and you're going to want to look for big packs of enemies. Makes sense. You don't want to, killing something as you're walking, and it's one thing. You run across a named monster, you're hoping for a rare, or at least a magical item. By all means, kill it quick. Don't kill a lone random skeleton or Roa you happen across. Chances are he's not going to drop anything worthwhile, and the time you spent killing him, you could have killed 3 things, 4 things, just by looking for a pack of mobs and using an AoE ability. Quicksilver flasks. Maybe as a normal, casual playthrough, you don't really care about it. The increased movement speed, you're going to be moving around a lot. You're going to be looking for packs of monsters. Even chests, you may not want to bother with those. But Quicksilver flasks, keeping it probably at least 1, just for the extra speed boost, will be very handy to have. Depending on your build, some characters may get movement speed as passive skill points. Like, I believe the Ranger, is this the Ranger point? I think it's the Shadow spot. Or is this the Ranger? No, that's the Shadow. Where's the Ranger? You know what I can do too? I can just select Ranger down at the bottom. And it will highlight the Ranger's starting point. There it is. Is it? Yeah, that is. I was pretty sure that the Ranger had increased movement speed here somewhere. Avoid being stunned, evasion. I thought there was movement speed here somewhere. Oh, there it is, yeah. Increased movement speed. Moving 10% faster over the course of an hour. Over the course of that hour, you will have moved, with all 3 points in here, 9% increase, it will round up to 10 for the hell of it. You'll have traveled, basically, you'll have an extra 6 minutes worth of time, because you'll have just covered that distance that much more quickly. So yeah, this, I can't think of any other little tips off the top of my head. Best advice, make do with what you get, and make them work as best you can. Plan according to what you get, adjust your plan accordingly based on what you get. I think I just repeated myself, but it's worth noting again, even though I've repeated myself a few times on that, but whatever. For the party events, anyone actually watches this, I am looking for some people to play through some of the party events. Message me here on YouTube. Twitter me. My username on there is Zyodin with an S at the end of it. Zyodins, basically. Or feel free to message me in game. My character names is Zydin, the one I play mostly. I also have my race character, One Big Moo. And that's really the only characters I've been playing as of late. I'll list my character names in the description of the video. Anyone wants to get in touch that way. So yeah, looking for some people for the party races. And beyond that, have fun with them. Yeah, there are challenges. Yeah, there are rewards. The 15, 30, and even the 60, the 15 and 30 are definitely within the reach of a lot of people. The higher level rewards, maybe not so much, but, you know, do an event. Do an hour one. You know, who doesn't have an hour where they can't sit down? You know, okay, some people don't, but most people can dedicate an hour towards playing the game every now and again. There's times spread out all over the place, too, so it's not like you're going to be restricted all over the place. I don't have the calendar up on any of these anymore. But yeah. You know, give it a try. Have fun with it. Any more advice to post? You know, any advice from me? You have any questions about my advice or anything to that effect? Any advice just for the races in general or any questions? By all means, feel free to ask. Comments, criticisms, of course, welcome from anybody. Feel free to comment, rate, and/or subscribe. And have a great day.